Alrighty, you're right to go.
Oh, yes, I was.
Okay, well, what we might do is...
I want to say my name, because Dad,
Yep.
I was sick when I was born.
Right.
And Dad christened me, and that's why I've got one name.
Is that right? When you say you were sick when you were born?
Oh, well, Dad christened me, so I must have been sick when I was.
Okay.
And he christened me.
When you were first born?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did the name Lola come from?
I don't know.
So you don't remember what?
No, there's no one. There's no other Lolas in any family anywhere.
Okay. Is that because you thought you mightn't survive?
Yes.
So you only got one name, and when you got christened when you were born?
Well, they give you a name at the hospital, I guess, in those days.
Okay, as opposed to waiting until...
Yeah, well, I don't think we ever got baptised in a church. Nothing was ever done like that, I wouldn't imagine. I don't know of any of the kids.
Yeah.
None of us.
And you were born in Lismore, you think?
I was born in Lismore.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's when you at that stage of the proceedings, you were living where? Where were you living when you...
We were living at Wallingbar.
Okay, which is where you first went to school.
And on Ware's Farm.
Ware's Farm, okay. So that...
And the bales are still there.
Are they the bales that we took?
They're the bales that we're still there. So
right on the edge of the road there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you... do you remember any of the things that happened at Wallingbar before you went to school? What was it like there?
Well, I don't remember too much. A few things I know. They built the road there. That was something. The men were building the road at that stage.
Is that right? So that must have been just at the beginning of the Depression in the 1930s, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then I pulled a billy of hot tea out of myself. Yeah. And the doctor came and cut all the blisters with scissors. I don't remember any of that, of course. I was only told that.
Is that right? Oh, that's when you were at Wallingbar.
I was at Wallingbar.
And that was before you went to school?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, and then you started school when you were 6 years old?
Yes, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, okay.
We left there when I was 7, so, and Mr. Carson was our teacher.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Carson used to teach us sewing.
Okay, even at that early stage?
Yes.
Okay.
And Mrs. Higgins was a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah.
No, I'm wrong, sorry. Mrs. Ryder was a Sunday school teacher.
And
we went to the Methodist Sunday school up the road.
Okay, why was that? Because it was closer, or...?
Well, because we went to any church that was close, and there was only one there anyway.
Was there? Okay. All right. So, how far away from the farm was the school? How far did you have to go there?
Well, I don't know, I suppose it's a mile.
Yeah.
It's been a mile about, walking up the road.
Yeah.
And on Monday morning we stopped at the Mr. Thresher's shop and bought 2 shillings worth of broken biscuits. We for 4 of us for lunch. They had pink icing and little flowers, and so they'd done the 4 of us for lunch. So
didn't do that every day, did you?
just Monday morning when there was no bread.
Okay. So what did you normally have for lunch?
Oh, sandwiches, I guess. Sandwiches.
Yeah. Okay.
Could have been homemade bread. I don't remember about that too much either.
Yeah. Okay. So you were there for a year, and then the family moved to Springgrove. Can you tell us a bit about that? Do you remember the move at all?
Oh, I can't remember. We just landed at Springgrove on Hicks's farm.
Yeah.
And share farming again.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of black boys up on the hill, things they call tree.
Are those, yeah?
These days. It's a pretty bare looking farm. Well, we used to pick the corn there and sit in the shed and shell it at the night time.
So it was the dairy farm, and it had other crops growing on it?
Everybody grew corn in those days to feed the chooks and the pigs.
Yeah. So did they sell cream or the milk?
Cream. Everywhere there was cream.
Okay.
Have to take the cream across in the slide to that's the truck which went to Casino. Was the closest town.
Yeah.
And what else happened there?
So I was just thinking of something about the farm you might remember in terms of.
Oh, I just remember getting the cows in and milk, and that's all. The house was up on a hill a bit.
Yeah. Okay. And you went to Springgrove School there. Mr. McIntosh was your teacher, is that right?
He was a single man, and we used to, some days we had to cook potato chips, the flat ones, and put on there for lunch, and he always used to say, how it smelt so nice. And,
but that was, you were quite a way.
About 3 miles, I'd say, and walk up hills and across creeks, and all of us. There was 5 of us.
Was there? Who would that have been going to school there?
Beg your pardon?
Who were the 5 of you going to school there?
Oh, Ashley and Bonnie and Barney, myself, and Maisie, I suppose. I don't know whether she would have been born then if I was only 7. Oh, well, she would have been by that time.
Okay.
It was a bit more on, yeah.
Okay. All right. And after you left Springgrove, you went and rented a house at Canibra, and this was during the Depression.
Yes. Sort of,
And your father, he worked in casino on the water supply. Can you tell us? Do you remember anything about that?
They built a big water tower, and he used to go over and stay over there. I don't know. I know Uncle Roy used to go across there in a car. Whether we went with him, how we ever got there, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
We never ever had a car.
Okay. So you must have stayed there.
Yeah.
Was that how long do you think you were at Canibra? Was it
a year and a half, or more or less, or something.
Okay. And then, so that must have been in the depth of the Depression. What other things happened in the Depression that you remember about went on around the place at that stage?
Well, I knew the old swaggers used to come along and come in for a cup of tea and a bit of food everywhere.
Yeah.
And we used to buy bananas for 2 shillings for a sulky load of bananas.
Okay. So what did you remember that food was in short supply or money was in short supply at that stage?
Well, money would be, but I don't know. I don't remember ever starving or anything about food too much, because I suppose we probably always grew vegetables in those days.
Yeah.
The material was a shilling a yard.
Yeah. What did you do? You remember what you would have for dinner and those sorts of things? Well, or for lunch? What was the sort of regular diet? Do you remember?
Not really.
No. Okay.
Only when I got to Swan Bay, I remember much of that. I suppose we always had salmon packed lunch for school.
Okay. All right.
We had homemade biscuits.
You mentioned that there were some people lived in a humpy when you were at Canibra. What do you remember about that? They just turned up, did they?
Oh, well, there was a mother and father and two grown-up girls. Like, big as Bonnie was always a fairly big girl.
Yeah.
They'd be about 10 and 12 and fairly big, and they had pretty little school cases. One was pink and one was blue, and Bonnie had a fight with one of them and broke the school case. And but they lived up there, so they must have been put out of Sydney, I don't know. And also Mr. Andy Davis, he might have got them up there, I don't know. He lived up there, just grew bananas and...
Okay, so they just worked on the farm for their keep, probably, did they?
Well, I suppose so. I don't know whether they would have got money in those days. You got money from the government in those days, didn't you, for coupons or different things?
Yeah, I think they had...
I don't know.
What did they call it? It used to be called dole coupons.
I can't remember. We used to get coupons, but then we got them later, rations.
Rations.
We called it rations.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of those things, but I guess that was it. And Mum would go to Lismore, probably buy some shoes or something. We never went to a shop to buy shoes, but you'd stop at Casa Grande's shop, coming home in the afternoon, and bring us some ice blocks homemade out of banana and cream, and they were all wrapped up in newspaper, and they weren't melted, and they were beautiful. Once you come up, you'll get an ice block.
Must have been a bit of a treat.
Yeah, it was, yeah. That's all right.
Yeah. Okay, well, and after Canibra, you went to Wadeville on another farm there?
Yeah, Frederick's farm.
Yeah. What was that farm like? What was it different to the others? Or
Oh, it was hilly. It was fairly hilly, I suppose. Even Springgrove was a few hills, but no, fairly hilly, and you had to walk right up a hill to school.
Yeah.
Go across creeks. You had to cross a creek to come off the road up to the house.
Yep.
And I don't remember too much about up there.
Yeah.
But we always had vegetables, I guess. And Gordon got real sick up there, and they took him in the ambulance. And I think he had meningitis, but he survived all right. So he was pretty strong. He was all the biggest baby.
Okay.
I don't remember anything about any babies, which is strange. I can't remember. Neil I can remember, and he was about 2. That's about all I can remember. About being babies, I don't know why I can remember that.
Yeah.
I went with Bernie's was our neighbours, and they used to come across and play cards.
Yep.
And there was also a tennis court at Wadeville School, and a dance hall up there where they'd go up for functions, and also Cranes lived up there, people by the name of Cranes and Mitchells.
Were they just the kids you remember from school, or the people, the neighbours?
Yeah, they were just all on farms all around. That all went to Wadeville School.
Yeah.
And there was Jabe Talbot, The teacher asked him, did you walk to school today? And he said, no. He said, what did you do? He said, I ran. But he was a little one of those little men, what do you call those, midgets?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he ran to school. He had a big head on him, but he was always went to school.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so when you were about 12 or 13, you came to Swan Bay.
In 1937.
Okay. Do you remember that move or anything about that?
I can't remember how we ever got, from all these moves, I can't remember how we ever got there. Ronnie Bryant might have helped us then, because Ronnie had a truck. Ronnie used to work in the CCC at Tingleton.
Yeah.
Every time he'd come home and bring us home some, Ronnie and Maisie and I, some fancy work. He brought home a tablecloth, which are still fancy worked, and an apron. He'd always bring Bonnie home some chocolates or something.
Okay. Well, how old would you were about 13 or something, and then Bonnie would have been, what, 20 or something, would she?
Well, Barney's only 2 years older than me, and then Bonnie's 2 years older, so that's
that'd have been
40, 50. Yeah, no, she'd be only 18, because she got married when she was 18.
Did she? Okay. And then Ronnie was around prior to that? We
met Ronnie at Caniba. I suppose she used to be friends with him when we were at Caniba. That's where he lived, at Caniba.
Okay.
So, and then he went away, sort of got to be a bit in the war by then, I suppose. I don't know. He used to work in this construction, CCC at Sinkle building roads. He had a truck.
Okay. Where did he get the truck from?
Oh, I suppose he bought it. His father owned the farm.
Okay.
His brothers, two of his other brothers also had trucks over the time.
Okay. All right.
And then Bonnie, when they got married, she lived there at their farm.
Okay, at Caniba.
Yeah.
I can always remember them being at Caniba. I don't know why. Maybe I'd been up there too. Did they live there for a long time, did they?
Oh, they would have before they came to Lisbon. I suppose they did. The kids were born there. The photos of the kids on the steps at Caniba, down on the house steps.
I can only remember the house at South Lismore, but Caniba was always a place that is quite familiar to me, although I can't picture it.
And that was down in Holland at a farm, and their mother died. He was, and he had two sisters. Ronnie had sisters and all, and they used to do the cooking. They used to cook puddings in little syrup billies.
Okay.
Remember his sisters?
Yeah. All right. So they, so she was married at 18. She must have been only. That must have been just at the beginning of the war, because.
Yeah, she was 18. She got married in Lismore at the Church of England. Well, none of us went to the wedding. None of the dad even went.
Why was that, do you think?
Oh, well, you never had a car to get there. How'd you go? You wouldn't get there. I don't know how Mum even got there.
Okay, so that it was a real journey to go from...
Go anywhere, because we never had a car, so we didn't go anywhere. And there were buses, I guess, buses in those days, that's about all.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, you went to school at Swan Bay School, and Jimmy Ormond, or James Ormond, who's...
Jim Ormond. James now James lives in Corrigal. He's Jim now, but he was Jamesy.
Okay.
And he was only a little kid.
Yeah. And
Ormond taught us sewing.
Okay. And there was about 30 kids went to the school?
Oh, at least it would have been 30.
It was a fairly small school building, as I remember.
Oh, well, it was 4 of us and 6 of Lee's.
Yeah.
And,
so that's 10.
And then there was the Wrens, but a lot of the, and then they come across the Newmans, and then came across the river. Well, Jim used to row over and get those 5 or 6 or 8 kids. Could you imagine them now, taking them in a rowing boat right across the river, those size kids?
That's right.
They'd be in jail for doing it. They never fell out either.
Okay, so you spent a couple of years there before you left, when you were 14, I think, did you say?
Oh, well, I think I was 14. Did my QC anyway, I can remember that.
Okay.
We used to do a lot of racing, the Red girls. I used to be able to race then. We used to have sports and go to... People would come there for sports and things.
Yeah. Yes, I don't remember much. Does it have a big school ground area, big area?
Oh, it's quite a big area. And they had a horse ground. Of course, all the school had horse ground. So I had horses in those days.
And the kids came to school by...
Bikes and and horses in the lane.
Yeah.
And Flatleys would have came there too in those days. They didn't go to the convent then.
Yeah.
And everyone else was up further.
Okay.
And the Hayneses came to live there. Hayneses lived at Wadeville, and when we came to Swan Bay, they lived over the rivers opposite us, and they had 10 kids, the same as we did.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Do you remember much about what you did at school at that stage, at that
well,
area?
not really.
Yeah.
I mean, Ollie, one thing I remember at school was Ollie Haynes. She was about the worst kid there, was Ollie, and Ollie Haynes used to live, Ollie Pearson she was, that's right, Pearson's come across in the boat, they all come across in the boat.
Okay. Did you, if you got into trouble at school, what happened? What was the...
Well, I suppose you got the cane, the boys got the cane, I don't know, I don't remember getting the cane.
Yeah.
But all the boys got the cane.
Yeah.
But probably not Jim Ormody was pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
But all the other schools, Mr Whitney used to give them a cane at Caniva. One kid, Dylan's kids ran home one day,
Yeah.
gave him the cane, but he was mad, we reckon.
When you, just going back to the Caniva one, you're saying that everyone got whooping cough at Caniva. Is
Yeah,
that
that
right?
was in the house, yeah,
Okay.
out at home, so probably all the school kids might have got it too, I don't know. In those days that one person got it and everyone got it.
Yeah. Was it seen as being...
Well, it was a pretty terrible thing then because you terrible cough in the night, you just cough all night. Mum used to burn sulphur.
Yeah.
Sulphur, and then later on we used to burn cow manure for mosquitoes. I remember that was there too, I think.
Yeah.
And that's where the limes were growing at Caniva and raspberries.
Okay. The limes, are these the finger limes?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
We used to go down and get those and put them in the cup. Then we'd also get raspberries and skim the cream off the milk.
Yeah. Okay. So just talking about when you were kids or some of the other in the family, did anyone else get sick? And what happened when they got sick?
Oh well, we just non-fixed up, I suppose. They didn't go to any doctors.
Yeah.
Don't remember ever going to a doctor in my life.
Yeah.
Well, the doctor would come out in those days. You couldn't take all 10 kids into
Yes.
the doctor.
Okay.
Oh, well, they just had their own remedies doing things in those days.
Do you remember anything about any of those other than that?
No, not really. Suppose we weren't sick anyway, so we didn't have to be sick.
Yeah.
Don't remember anyone else being sick any other sort.
Yeah. Any broken bones or anything like that at all?
No, we were all drinking too much milk for that. We never
That's
had any
surprising.
broken
When
legs.
you got 11 kids, that someone didn't break a bone somewhere.
Well, never that I know of. No, I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Okay.
People had plenty of milk and eggs, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or at every farm you had chooks, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So was it the farm at Swan Bay? Was it different to the other farms? I mean, in terms, it was obviously. It sounds as though it was a much better farm than the
Oh,
others.
it was probably a lot bigger too, I suppose, than the others.
Yeah.
And we had a few floods while we were there too, of course.
Yeah. But it always seemed to me that it grew plenty of corn and pumpkins and all that sort of stuff.
Everywhere you went you grew pumpkins and grammars and all cucumbers and all those things. So you always had plenty, that's what you had to eat, so we haven't died from it yet anyway.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
those things.
Yeah. Okay.
And Mr. Rawley man used to come around now. He was at different places. I remember him coming to Swan Bay, but before that I think the Rawley man used to come and you'd buy medicine off him. The Rawley's Ready Relief, you'd have that. And then the sago puddings in packets.
Yeah.
And what they used to get for Coles was that Rawley's Ready Relief. No, for indigestion for the babes, used to have it's not calamine, it's pink sort of thing. People for the babies used to give the babies in a spoonful of that if they were sick.
Okay.
I don't think of the name of it now, it'll come to me later.
All right. So when you left school, it must have been about the beginning of the war at that stage of the proceedings.
Well, I suppose it would have been. I can remember I was sleeping on the veranda at Swan Bay and I saw this lightning, big noise and all. I looked over, we thought it was the war, but it was meter box across the river blew up. Yeah, so that was big. What I remember about sleeping on the veranda there too, I had a carbuncle underneath my arm on the back there, and Eileen come down. Eileen was then,
This is Ashley's wife.
Ashley's wife.
Yeah.
And also another thing at Swan Bay, I was riding the horse around, I threw its head up and put that tooth across, which is still black now, and Eileen was there and she pushed it back in.
Is that
I still
right?
got the tooth.
Goodness me.
So that's why it's black.
So Eileen was a dab hand, and she'd do all this sort of...
Oh, well, she could do anything, I suppose.
Well, what was her background? What?
Well,
She wasn't a
lived on
nurse or
farm. No, I don't think so. She only lived on a farm.
Yeah.
And while we were at Swan Bay, I forgot to tell you about Uncle Ab Clarke. We called him Uncle Ab Clarke. They lived at Caniba. Granny and Auntie Janie was an old maid, and Uncle Ab, and they lived on a farm at Caniba. I think that's when we got to be friends with him, and then he came to Swan Bay and lived with us the later part of his life. He lived there. He was still there when Nellie and Barry were there.
Yeah.
But he'd play cards and cribbit. He was always used to comb his hair and be nice and clean and tidy. Everyone in those days had some person, some relation living with them. Like Auntie Ethel, she lived with Auntie Ethel Williams at Swan Bay. When we first came to Swan Bay, Auntie Ethel was still there. And Henry and Madge, the old people, went overseas, and we minded them till they come back from overseas. And then Auntie Ethel, she went down and lived with her brother's child, your nephew, wouldn't it?
Do you remember anything about your grandparents?
Oh, Granny Saul and grandfather, I lived out with them always, all the whole school holidays.
Yeah. Whereabouts did they live?
They lived at Pineapple Road, Canella Bar.
Yep.
And I used to go to school at Richmond Hill sometime. Neville was the same age as me. And grandfather, he used to have a pony called Trixie, that's right. He came home sick one day from the paddock leaning over Trixie, and then another time he came home for lunch in Gilbert and they had rice pudding, and he went back and he died out in the paddock, and they brought him home on the horse.
Who's that who died?
Grandfather Saul,
Did he?
Mum's dad.
Yeah.
And also when I went there, Auntie Rita got married there.
Just going back to when he so what did he do? What was his...
Oh, they were on a farm.
Okay, so at Canella Bay they were on a farm.
Yeah, that was off James's farm.
Okay.
Still in Pineapple Road, where
Yes.
the church is now, where the school is now.
Yeah.
And we had pineapples. You'd always have a whole pineapples, cut it in two and eat the centre out.
Okay.
So I used to help Granny cook and milk.
Yep.
And then the pigsty was down below. The milk ran down to the pigsty, and halfway down there was you undone the pipe and got buckets of milk, and Neville and I used to feed about 30 or 40 calves on the milk.
Yep.
Just put them, they had little things made, little bales with their heads into calves to drink the milk.
Yep.
And we used to go to Lismore on Friday nights or shopping nights, I think, and Colin and them used to go to the dances at the Riviera, and we used to go around the street, Neville and I, and you'd have 5 pence to spend, and you'd look at them, you never spend it, you come home, and so we'd wait for them to come home from the dances.
So how old were you when this was happening?
Oh, well, 10 or 11, I suppose.
Okay, so this is while you were still out at Springgrove?
Springgrove or Caniba. Well, I went to every school holidays, I went there anyway, so it was right from when I was little, I guess.
Yeah. So Grandfather Saul, he died out on the farm?
Yeah, with a heart attack out in the farm. He looked old, and he was only 62 or 67 or something like 57, I think, and he looked old.
Yeah.
Wore a flannel shirt.
Yeah.
And then they went to the war, then Bert and Roy and Colin all went to the war.
Yeah.
And Neville didn't go to the war. He worked on electricity in Lismore, and he married Marge Dorrington from Swan Bay.
Yep.
And Auntie Eva was married, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the day she got married, it was a real wet day, and they just had a track up the Pineapple Road, and it was all muddy and the cars got bogged.
So where did they get married? At the farm?
At the crossroads, where all at Alphadale.
Yeah.
They got married in that church.
Yes.
Another thing I remember, Granny Saul was going into the church once and a black snake bit her. Remember that?
Is that right? When you were there?
Oh, well, I don't know whether I was actually there that time, but I knew about it.
So
They took her to the doctor in the sulky or something and saved the lot. But they had a whippet car.
Yep.
Sundays we used to go to Ballina, and they'd have ginger beer tied down with corks to drink when we had a picnic up in the Lighthouse Hill.
Yep.
Well, the men went swimming, and the girls used to wear shorts and high-heeled shoes. I can remember Colin's girl, Beryl Havel, had shorts on and high-heeled shoes.
So this must have been quite different to because you were on holidays, I suppose, weren't you, when you went there?
Oh,
School
well, they had
holidays.
a car, and they were all doing things in the then sort of.
Yeah.
You know, everyone was
Yeah.
doing something. And Neville, and when I used to walk to school, Richmond Hill School, with him too. That was another school I went to.
Yeah. So Neville was about your age.
He's the same age as me, and Doug, who was the same age as Bonnie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
I remember Bert, but I don't remember Neville.
oh well, you wouldn't have met him. Once they got married, they went away, and I never saw them again, which was disappointing. Never ever saw them again.
Is that
I
right?
just thought they were a bit uppity or something. I don't know. They left. I think he was working in Lismore or something, and supposed to fiddle with the money, and they went away and they never come back. But all the others,
Okay.
used to see all those. See Uncle Roy till he died. He used to live in Lismore.
Yep.
And never saw Neville. Although we met his daughter some time back, and
Yeah.
she was quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Then Maisie used to go to Auntie Marty's, I think, for holidays. That's where she went for her holidays.
And Auntie Marty was...
Dad's auntie.
Okay, you don't remember your father's mother and father?
Yeah, Granny and Grandfather Watt. Yeah, I now remember them. They were really tall. He was really tall and she was short and fat, and they lived at Alstonville on a farm, Elby's farm, where you can see it if you go past now.
Yeah.
I've been there at their place. Stayed out there. Don't know how we ever got there, but we did.
Yeah.
And also I was a flower girl. The first photo I have, the youngest photo I had when I was 8, I was flower girl for Auntie Lizzie, that's Dad's sister. And Lizzie Lizzie Doust, yeah, Johnny and Lizzie Doust. I was a flower girl for them.
Yep.
And I remember going to Auntie Phyllis's wedding, that's Dad's other sister.
Yep.
And the horse reared up or something, they had all these lollies, and we got all these lollies fell out in the sulky or something.
So that your father must have been the oldest one in the family if you went to their wedding, of course.
Dad's sister.
Yeah.
No, Uncle Alf was older than him. Uncle Alf was the oldest, and...
No, I was just saying, if you went to their wedding, you went to your father's sister's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
They must have been...
Oh, that doesn't matter. We went to Bonnie's wedding, and she's got a child the same age as Neil.
Yeah, true.
The youngest one, so...
So what else do you remember about grandmother and grandfather Watts?
Oh, well, not much, just about them, that's all. He had a curly beard, and he was pretty jolly, and she was short and fat and pretty. But she'd tell you if the kids dirtied their pants, she'd go out and tell them they shit their pants. she was a bit funny. Yeah. But also I remember grandfather and grandma Roberts, that's Granny Saul's mother and father. I remember them. They lived at Balna in Martin Street. The house is still there. We used to go down. When I went to Granny Saul's, we'd go down there, visit them on a Sunday. Grandfather and Grandma Roberts, they lived till they were over 100. They were 100.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So that was
the Granny Saul's mother and father.
So that was your great grandfather.
Yeah, my great grandfather. That's right, isn't it? No, great grandfather and grandmother. Yeah.
Right.
And they had, I can remember all their family was...
So they lived in Ballina?
Yeah, they lived in Ballina.
And how old would you have been when you went down to visit them down there?
Oh, well, I suppose I'm 10 or 11 or something like that, I don't know. I might have only been 8 or something, I don't, yeah. Because I always went every school holidays to Granny's also. I went when I was probably...
And what do you remember about the Roberts?
Oh, they just lived in a house in Ballina, and they were retired, of course, and were too old to work, and they had a few kids, Auntie Ali and Ali Roberts and who are the rest of them. Yeah, I can remember all them.
Yeah.
Because I know from all their wedding photos.
Yeah.
And still. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember going to their funerals at all?
No, when I went to funerals in those days. Your kids didn't go to funerals, any funerals.
Okay.
So there would have been only Auntie Rita's wedding and Dad's sister's Auntie Lizzie seen I was flower girl, but I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Heather Lane was the other sister there. Her niece was her sister's sister was the same age as me. She was the other flower girl.
Yeah. You've still got that picture, haven't you?
Yes, it's in the book, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that.
And Heather lives up at Cairns, so
Yeah.
I haven't seen her for a long time.
Okay.
Granny Roberts, I just remember because I went with Granny Saul, otherwise I wouldn't see them. They wouldn't have had a car, they would have been just living in Balna.
Yeah.
Can't remember what he used to do before they retired.
Yeah.
So, Granny Father Saul's, I can't remember any of Grandfather Saul, any of his lot on that side.
Yeah.
Aunt Violet, I remember Aunt Violet now, she was Aunt Violet too. Aunt Violet Lofts. Grandfather Saul's mother was a Lofts, and that's, I can remember Aunt Violet.
Okay.
She lived in a house at South Lismore, she was pretty old.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty, well we might stop there for a minute, see how we go. Okay. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the time you left school and probably from the war from 1940 onwards. So can you tell us a little bit about what you remember about the war years? What do you remember about that period of time?
Well, Ashley and Barney went to the war. Henry Williams, I think, they all went to the war. I remember the Air Force at Evans Head. We used to go out to Evans Head and go to dances with dance with the Air Force fellas. And I had one friend that I had was John Watt. He came from Darwin. Used to dance with it in the wartime. I think I used to go out with McFadden's, with the Collins Dance Hall it was in those days.
Okay. Did it ever feel as though there was how serious it was, or there was any issues about the war and what was going on?
Oh, we were always pretty scared it was going to come there, and then the electricity box blew up over the river and we thought that war was on, but anyhow it was only that, so that was all right.
Yeah. Was there any of the people that you knew were killed in the war? What happened when that?
Ashley was in the Light Horse. There's a fellow called Jack Hallicker, come from Bungawawan, when he used to go with Margaret Dolby, was her boyfriend. He got killed. He rode the horse into a trench and got killed in the night time just from riding the horse into the trench.
Okay. Was he in the same unit as
Ashley, in the Light Horse.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there was a fellow Rogers in Corricock, and he was the one in the Air Force. He was married to he was Wyn Jones.
Yeah.
And he was married to Elma Benno.
Yep.
She'd be cousin of probably Richie Benno, first cousin of Richie Benno's.
Okay.
Elma Jones, and they had one son. Let's see, was another one got killed. I don't remember about anyone else too much that I knew was in the war that got killed anyway.
Okay.
And we used to have Comforts Fund. We used to run races for Comforts Fund to get money to buy knit socks, and they used to pack Christmas cakes and puddings and things to send to the people in the war.
Okay. So you went to some of the dances out at Evans Head, and were there other dances and entertainment around the place? What were some of those?
Well, at Woodburn, they used to have a ball at Woodburn. We used to go there, used to go down with Jean York and to the balls at Woodburn, and also we used to go Friday night when the shops were opened, and I think we used to ride our bikes in those sometimes then, and we'd go to Shilford's store and came out here, and when we were in there all the Catholic girls had been to confession.
Yeah.
And they had hats and gloves on, they'd all be in there, and then they'd take all them off, and then they'd go at the pictures.
Well, that was a big general store, wasn't it? That
Yeah.
Shilson store.
They had everything in there. The grocery store, nails and what have you and what have you.
Yeah.
So there's a big dressing room where all these girls used to go. The Campbells, the Taylors and the fathers, they all had about 4 or 6 girls in every family. They were going to confession.
Yeah.
And I remember we were on the bus one time and the Pope died, and all these girls were in the bus crying because the Pope died. I don't know whether they'd cry if he died these days.
So there was when you say there was a ball at Woodburn, was that a regular event or just an occasional event?
Lots of balls. They'd have balls for every Church of England would have one, the Comfort Fund and the Red Cross, and they'd all have one. They used to...
Okay, so it was a way of raising money for the war.
A way of raising money for the war.
Yeah, okay.
And then we used to go to Bunga to the dancers used to row up in the boat and go up there, all of us, and that's where I met Jeffrey and John's father was up there, Bunga dancers.
Okay.
So they used to row across the river in the boat up there, the Leesons, and be dozens and dozens of them with the flood on a night. They'd row across in the boat and take their shoes off and put them on when they got to the dance. And normally Albert McDonald used to play the piano, and Alex Strong used to play the drums.
Okay.
So everyone used to go to all those dances.
Did they? Yeah, that and so was it sort of a banded play, that sort of thing? And what?
That was it. That was the band.
Yeah. What sort of dances were they doing?
Oh, well, all the old time dances. They didn't have any of these new ones they have these days. All jazz and old time.
Okay.
And
so how many people would be there? 100 or?
Oh yeah, well I guess it would possibly be 100. And all the Leesons, they'd all bring their beautiful cakes in a suitcase.
Okay.
They call them, Port used to call them those days. They'd have all the cakes in those.
Well, that
make
was Lucy.
Sandwiches there, Lucy and Eva, and
they'd bring the cake.
yeah, old Jack and old Jack, everyone, and Margaret Dole, the Dolbys and the Percys, and all the kids that come and sleep on the stage.
Yeah.
The rest of those that had cars, I guess.
All right. So how often do these dances would they be?
Oh, well, they probably have one a month at least in those times, and if there's anything more, they might have had more. Then they'd have a little kitchen tea or a send-off for the boys that were going to the war, or some of them come home, they'd have another dance. So we were only allowed to go out once a week, or that's all there was anything on anyway, once a week.
Yeah. Okay. And that's where you met Dad?
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you meet him over a period of time, a few dances? How did it all develop?
I suppose I did.
Yeah.
And then we used to take me to the beach, and then...
Well, did he have a car, did he?
Yeah, Vauxhall. Velux, I think it was, with the hood down. Grey one. And then we used to...
You got any pictures of that?
Yeah, I have. I got one of, tell you about, up at Valerie and myself, up at Kennedy's on the hill, and that's the only photo I've got of that one, I think, was we were up there.
Yeah.
Valerie had Diane, I suppose, and I had you. We were up there in a car, but I went to the beach and we got out there. We met the policeman, and he said, "Oh, there's Wall from Woodburn." He said, "Oh, give us a ride home, would you?" And so I was going down next day to get my licence. So he said, "Hop over and have a drive." Of course, I stalled it first thing, but anyway.
Okay, so
I
you...
went to Woodburn, and he said, "Come down next day, and I'll give you a licence."
So this was in the Dad's Vauxhall?
Yes.
Okay, so did you go for the licence in the Vauxhall?
Yes, I guess so. I suppose I did. I can't remember that bit. And I think after I got that, we went to Lismore. I got my photo taken that day, which I got to remember that, go to Lismore and get my photo taken that day after that.
Do you still got that one?
Yeah, it's one by myself with a lace collar on. And
Okay.
held up.
Okay.
And Maisie might have went too, because I got one of her the same time. And that was the only driving I did was then, I guess, because I never had a car, so that was that. And that was it, sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got engaged, and then we were going to have a kitchen tea, and it was a flood.
Yeah.
So Maisie got married in August, so it must have been July. Must have been a flood in July or something, and then they didn't have the kitchen tea. They had it then. I got married in December, on the 15th of December.
Okay.
Yeah.
when you, how long had you known each other before you got engaged and married?
I don't know. I was 21 when I got married, so it must have been all that time.
Like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it was 20. Yeah, would have been, because I was 18 when I got my licence. And,
Okay.
And Joyce Hicks come down and drove me. The wedding was on about 3. She drove me to the wedding.
Okay.
So I don't know who went to that. I don't suppose Jessie was bridesmaid.
Yes.
And she had a pretty green dress on.
And the wedding was at Corrigan?
At the church, and Mrs. Sketchley played the organ.
Okay.
When I went in, and then when we were coming out, Jean, my cousin from Bundaberg, was there, and she was a piano organ teacher, and she played the organ when I came out of the church, and she always laughed from that day till this, that the minister was Charles Hacks, and he was Scotch, and he called Martin Montague Clarke. She always used, every time I met her, she used to tell me that about how he said that.
Yes.
I don't know however she got to the wedding or what was that. I think she was down Stone home down at Swan Bay.
Yeah.
Mum made my wedding dress, of course, out of 5 yards of material with a train on it, and the headpiece belonged to Auntie Lottie's wedding. So, and then Mum made me 2 travelling dresses, or about 3 dresses, I think, and we went to Tweed Heads for a honeymoon and stayed at the Tweed Heads Hotel, and Pacific Hotel, I think they call it now. I think called Tweed Heads. It's moved across the road, and we had Christmas dinner there. Still got the menu for that.
Have you?
On a green, yeah, it was turkey with something and something else and something else.
Okay, so it was the 15th December you got married, wasn't it? Yeah. 15th or 19th? 15th.
The 15th, so then we went up there, and that's where Christmas was, up there for Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And I met some people up there, Bagleys, that they were at Kira, so I met them somewhere.
Okay. And then you came back and after you were married and lived on the farm at Corrigan?
Yeah, with Grandma and Murray was around. Murray was most times
well, he was still
cutting cane or something, but he was always had his things in the room there.
Yeah.
And then he'd buy extra food when he came home so he could cook himself a steak or something else, but we didn't have, I suppose.
Yeah.
We used to get our meat from the Woodburn butcher, used to bring it up and sit it on the table if we were away, even they'd leave it on the table, and we had a cat, but we couldn't have any smell because it never ever touched the meat. And we used to have an ice chest to put it in.
Yeah.
But mostly had tin corned meat or something. You didn't have meat that many times.
Yeah. So the farm was, I think, owned by Grandma. Owned it at that stage of the proceedings, and well, she would have been about 70 then, I suppose. No, 60, wouldn't she? 60 when you were married, because she died in.
She was born in 77.
Yeah, and died in. Yeah, so 77. That'd be 23 and 50 years. Oh, she'd have been quite old at that stage.
Oh, she was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we bought the farm off for £9,000.
When did? Yeah, I remember that. When was that? Was in the mid 50s or something, wasn't it?
I just don't remember when it was. I'm going to look at the receipt and find out.
Yeah.
And we bought the farm off her. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then.
Do you know much about the building of the house and the house that's on there?
Well, it wasn't built very long when I got there because the other one burnt down. They lived in a shed for years, in the barn for years, and then they built that house.
Is that right? That was the house that burnt down. Was the one that was down past the dairy on the riverside?
Yeah, down there where that blue bush was.
Yes. Yeah.
And someone supposedly caught the paper. The paper was supposed to catch their paper along the shelves those days, you know,
yes.
The mantelpiece, and candle caught on that and burned.
Okay.
I don't know anything further about that.
Okay, so I didn't know they lived in a shed for a period of time.
They lived in a shed for a good while. I think, well, only Margaret Percy or someone told me that. Martin never said anything about that. They never told you anything. Grandma didn't ever tell you anything about Rita, and I didn't even know anything about Rita. I was only saw Bart Leeson one day and he told me about her. He used to bring her an ice cream when he came home from town, so I think she was home pretty well till she died.
Yeah, and she died of?
Well, she died of breast cancer, and I didn't know that forever. Well, Valerie told me not too long ago.
Is that
We
right?
never talked about.
She died. She was 38 when she died.
Yeah.
And she died about. I think it might have been.
We got married in 45. Well, before I met Mum, so it would have been 40.
Okay.
40 something. That's when she died.
Yeah. And I think that's when the house was built about that stage.
Well, just about then, yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't have any lining on the back part. The back was like a veranda right along the kitchen and the breakfast room and the bathroom. You probably remember them putting lining.
I don't remember, but that's where those different boards are on.
Yeah, where they put the boards. Two different people done different parts of it, I think. They've done the kitchen, the breakfast room, I think, where the boards were, and then later on, he put gyprock in the kitchen, that rotten stuff.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Daly, I think, done the building of that.
Yeah.
It was built by Mr. Turner.
Yeah.
And Mr. Turner and Mr. Livingston selected those farms, and
Yep.
65, I think, that was finally paid for. I got the last receipt when they paid for the farm in 65.
Okay. So I'm trying to understand that. When you say the last receipt for paying in 65.
That was when they paid the last payment to the Crown Land or whatever.
Oh, okay.
They bought it off those days.
That was in 1865. They
yeah,
paid it.
1865.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was selected by Livingstone's and Turner at that stage. Yeah. Okay.
We owned a block of land, and they owned a block of land over town too.
Yeah.
Right opposite Jaegers, which Grandma sold for the rates or something. If we had any brains, we would have bought it. I suppose they only got paid £5 for it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's probably worth less than the rates cost, I suppose.
Yeah, that'd be right, yeah.
Wasn't making any money or doing anything.
No, you couldn't afford to pay anything because supposed to pay for the rates. They probably let them, no one let them build up and pay for them, I guess.
Yeah. So when you first moved to the farm, what are some of the things that you remember particularly about that period of time?
Oh, not too much.
Yeah.
Just cooking everything and Grandma being there.
Yeah.
We want to go to Lismore. Would you like to go to Lismore, Grandma? Oh, no, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And about 2 minutes after, she'd be ready to go. Would you like a cup of tea? Oh, no, I won't have a cup of tea. And then after 5 minutes, she's always used to say that. You could always see her outside when the figs were ripe or the cherry balls. She'd be outside picking them.
Yes.
She used to smell the things because she couldn't see. So
that's right. Her eyesight was very poor, wasn't it?
Probably the same as mine. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you were there on the farm a couple of years after you got married before I was born.
Yeah, I was married in 45. You were born in 48.
Yes.
And as I said, there was a flood because I went down home to get clothes made, and the flood was on while I was down there, and everybody said I had a baby in the boat, but you weren't born for 5 more months. They were a long way short of that. And then soon after that, the Joneses and the Clarkes come. We had to fit all those 8 people in the house, move wardrobes, move everything. No wonder I never had any milk left. You used to be howling because you were going really good, and you used to be howling because you were hungry, so you got on the bottle then.
Okay, this is when Alistair and
Valerie and Beverly came, and Joneses and 3 kids.
Okay.
And they introduced us to golf.
Okay.
They used to hit the golf ball all over the paddock whenever found them that day or this. Yeah. That's when we first started golf. They didn't play it, we did.
Okay. So someone must have played golf that introduced you to it? Why was that, or was they just...
the Joneses just...
Dennis played, did he?
Yeah, they played, and Alistair used to play. Oh, well, I think they were in a social club in Sydney, that's all. So they introduced that to us.
Yeah.
And, they used to have rides on the horse and do all sorts of things, like great ones riding horse or go to the beach or something.
Well, they were city slickers, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, they didn't even know what a bridle was.
Yeah.
And, Valerie didn't know what a bridle was.
Okay.
And Valerie was married then, but Alistair and Valerie, when they got married, they went to live on another farm at Spring Grove, Hicks's own, that where they went to live in Hicks's own house. That's where they went to live when they got married.
Yeah.
And they had grew tomatoes, it was a dairy farm, they had to milk. And up on the hill they grew tomatoes, and used to walk right up there, and they had flying fox, the box, we call it, with on a flying fox, and they'd put all the tomatoes down on that, and someone had taken to Lismore to sell them.
Yeah. So where did Alistair and Valerie meet?
Oh, well, in Sydney, I don't know, just...
So there's...
Oh, only in Sydney. Alistair was down there haircutting. He left the farm when the war went and went to Sydney and started up a hairdressing salon himself.
Okay, so that's...
He met Valerie there.
And then they came back up for a period of time?
Well, after they were married, before Beverly was born. Beverly was born at Casino.
Yeah.
So we went up that lately, and Pam drove Valerie and I. We went out to the... It was too wet to drive right to the house, but the house is still there.
Okay.
And then we went across the Casino and sort of took a photo of the hospital where she was born.
Yep.
And then
So
they must have went on to Sydney, then back to Sydney.
Okay. They the Joneses came up a number of times after that, didn't they?
Lots of times after that.
Yeah.
Every year they used to come up, and the kids would come up and ride milking the cows and ride on the horse, or be a photo of them on the horse. Of course, they had cameras in those days. They'd always have lots of photos.
Yeah.
But they used to come without Alistair and Valerie then, by themselves.
Yeah.
And then when you were 1 year old, you went up to the eye specialist. You had to get glasses. So on the day you were 1 year old, they gave you an old pair of frames and a tennis racket, and you walk around the veranda when you were 1 year old carrying the racket, and you put the glasses on you so you get used to glasses when you got up there.
Mm.
So we got them, and they were tied on with string, if you remember.
No, I don't remember that.
And it'd always be losing them or something. They tied on with string, and then you couldn't find them. We'd go out the water trough, and you'd been playing over there while we were milking, and there were the glasses there. We're always looking for them. And then you had one eye covered for a long time, brown paper and glue. You'd have to stick this one eye covered, and so there was plenty of glasses hanging around the place.
Yeah.
So you went to the Lismore show. This was before you had the glasses, so it must have been October. You went there and you were howling your head off. We were just there early in the morning. We went, and the fellow said, he's starting early. So we come to the conclusion that it was your eyes, where you couldn't stand the glare, and also you used to howl when you went to the beach.
Yeah.
It must be because you couldn't stand the glare.
Yeah.
So then Johnny should have had glasses when he was one, but he never got them. His father said he didn't want all the kids with glasses, and Dr. Carden told me that he had 10 kids that all had spectacles, so I was pleased I didn't, because it was bad enough looking for yours, finding them, cleaning the glue off and what have you.
Yeah. So in those, I went to the school up the Yeagerton Public School up the road, and Ted Cameron was the teacher there. And there were about 30 kids going at that stage of the proceeding.
It would have been then.
Yeah.
My father went to that school too. Mr. Apps was the teacher.
Yeah.
Taught them all how to write good.
He went to the Yeagerton Public
School.
And it was the same building, because I remember...
Oh, the same building was built when grandmother started in Corrigai School. The father used to take her across in the boat and carry her up to Corrigai School so the blacks wouldn't get her.
Yeah.
And then when she wouldn't go to Yeagerton, then it opened up while she was still of kill age. And she always remembers the first day she went to school with, she had a white dress and what hat she had on. She could always tell you that.
Yeah.
So she didn't go there, but it was open then.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. It had 1893 or something. It used to be on the building itself. It was painted on the building.
Still on there. We looked at it the other day.
Is that right?
And it's still on it.
Okay.
Is it 80? What is it? Whatever old grandma, it'd be 83 or something like that. Yeah.
She was born in 1877 or something, wasn't
she? 77, so it would be, she'd be 8, yeah. So or a bit more, something like that, but she was only still going to Corrigai School. Yeah.
And Murray used to stay for a while, and when he was, I've got cane cutting for 6 months of the year, or more than that, wasn't it?
Gordon Vale, that's where he used to always go up there.
Yeah.
All depends how long it was.
Yeah.
Then when he'd come home, they'd be cutting millet. There'd be millet all around, so he'd cut millet.
Yeah.
He had a motorbike, and he'd sail off on the motorbike.
Yeah.
And
it must have been a pretty tough life in cane cutting. It wasn't an easy.
Oh, it wasn't an easy job, but
no.
And then, of course, Ben and I bought the house in Lismore at Darsham Avenue.
Yep.
And Murray used to go there after that.
Okay. All right. But when you were first married and on the farm, Dad used to play football at that stage of proceedings?
Oh yeah, well he only got to play after I was there, so I could do the milk, and he never used to play till then.
Yeah.
So he started pretty late in life to play football.
Yeah.
Should have been playing a bit sooner.
Yeah.
But that's when he played.
Yeah. And Alistair was doing well at that stage of the proceedings
oh, yeah,
too.
well, he was in Sydney then at the St George or
Canterbury.
South, Canterbury.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else you used to do.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if that, I mean, Dad played football for which teams around the place? Who did he play for?
Oh, Woodburn.
Yep.
Just Woodburn. Then he represented the North Coast to go to Lismore when the Frenchmen came out. They went up there.
Okay.
And then every year they used to go up the test match up at Brisbane when we first got the Holden one. You get the Holden 49. I said when it was
50, I think.
50, that's right. You were 4.
Yeah. Must have been 52 in that case. Yeah.
Well, we came to Sydney when you were 4 anyway, but they might have had we had the car before that, and they used to go, Jim Willis and Martin and Frank Branch and Ashley.
Yeah.
They drove all the way up to Brisbane. They come back to Idiot before they had to put any petrol. That's how good it was on petrol in those days. And they used to go every year to the football up there.
They brought back those artificial fruit that they fed me in the middle of the night.
And they also brought a cat back at, they got it in, did he know that was the insurance agent?
Yeah.
Come around, he gave this cap and he gave it to Jeffrey. And he said the novelty's worn off. And Jeffrey wanted to know what the novelty was.
Where the novelty was.
Yeah. So Mr. Watkins, he was a funny old insurance bloke.
Wasn't the Rawleys man or something?
No, it wasn't the Rawleys man, it was another insurance fella.
Okay.
Yeah, he was pretty ugly. Big nose on him, yeah. Other than the Rawley man used to come.
Yeah.
Mr. Wire, I think there was another one. The Rawley man used to come when we were at Swan Bay when he'd buy all his ready relief or sago puddings and
well, I used to have a sample suitcase, didn't they? They'd open it up.
Full up there, and then they'd send all the essence of lemon. We always got our essence of lemon, almond essence and vanilla essence off him. I still get the vanilla essence and the Rawley's camphor ointment. I still get, there's still an agent around up there for that, so it's still going.
Good. Yeah.
And then Johnny was born in 58.
Yep.
And we tricked the ferryman up. I was a bit sick that morning and Martin went and milked and he said, oh, after he finished milking he'd take me out. It was church time, so he took me out to the hospital and it was church time and the ferryman didn't know that I was going to the hospital. You're supposed to tell them because they had to be ready for night time if you rang the bell or something to go over there.
Okay.
Dr. Pratt was the doctor.
Yeah.
And he said I'd done a pretty good job having him, so. And but he was a breech birth. I think you might have been too.
Yeah.
And you were born on the 10th of November, and then the next door neighbour was Lester and Noel McLean, and then they had Dennis. He was born on the 12th of November. And while we were both in the hospital together, Prince Charles was born on the 14th.
Yes.
So that all happened at once. Anyhow, then I came home from the hospital. I was pretty good walking around over there. Then I come home and your teeth were white as anything. Your father bought a case of apples, and I suppose all you ate was apples, probably while I was away. Well, I got home and your father said, oh, I looked all right in the hospital. I wasn't too good when I got home after being keep you in bed for a fortnight in those days.
Yes.
And then when Johnny was little, he got real sick, got a virus or something. I think him and it was a flood. Him and Alistair McPherson was sick too. They were about the same age, and took them across in the boat to the hospital. And he'd started to suck his thumb before that. He started to suck his thumb when he went off the breast, which was I thought it was terrible thumb, but I thought it was good after that. He slept all night and he used to sleep really good. And I made him a pillowcase, and he used to carry this pillowcase everywhere and had to take it to the hospital. And Pam Summer was a nurse, and she carried him around and fed him, otherwise he might have died. She carried him all around and fed him on the bottle.
So what?
Well, they never could tell you what it was. They never tell you, I don't know what it was, but it was a flood time.
So when they were sick, though, what were they were just?
Oh no, well they just did. Well, he
What
had
were
a
the
rash.
symptoms?
Oh, just a fever.
Yes.
Yeah, and round his mouth got all sores, and round where he sucked his thumb, or right round his thumb and his hand was all sores.
Yeah.
So that was the fever about on him. But they never could tell you what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, she's fever. I mean, surprising. Lots of fevers and lots of things like that in the past, which we don't seem to see so much more these days.
Well, as soon as they're sick, they give them penicillin and give them to stop
Antibiotics
anything
and
that
things.
comes.
Yeah.
I don't know what they gave them in those days.
Yeah. I didn't have the antibiotics like they've got now.
Yeah. Another thing happened after when Johnny was only little. I went and had a thing taken off my nose and the back of my neck, and a big black mole on the back of my back that I'd had since I was a kid. When I was having the baby, Dr. Pratt saw all those, and when I went to see him after check-up after he had the baby, he said, oh, you might have to have a repair one day, but he said, I'll take those things off you. So he got me in there and took them all off, which they were every place where they were, where my glasses would be and where your neck rubs at the back.
Yeah.
And where the bra rubs on the back. So I learnt that if you have anything where it rubs, you take it off.
Yeah.
And I went in to left you in it from then on. And you howling your head off, and I come out because he had me in there all that time. He said, you're starving. And then soon after that was terrible. Then Beck's little girl, Leanne, who was 5 on her birthday, she died with golden staph.
Yeah. And he was right next door to the...
He was right, well he bore her,
Yes.
so it was pretty awful for the doctor.
Yeah.
Well that was pretty terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can't remember much else what Johnny did when he ran around. Oh, he used to make all your clothes in those days. Dad's good pants, you'd cut them off for shorts to wear at home, and then you'd make pants out of them to wear, good pants out of them to wear out, with braces on them.
Yeah.
Used to make everyone all the clothes in those days and make gown dresses.
Yeah.
Of course, before that, Mum used to make all the dresses. I've still got one, I've still got my wedding dress that she made.
Yeah.
Fit on Kristen, okay.
Yeah. And so but that was Johnny was born in 58, and he went to school in that period, and Dad died in 1970, didn't he? And he was. I can remember him being sick and things, but it was fairly. How quick was that at this stage?
Well, it was the Christmas time. Christmas time, he fell off the horse that morning. It must have been a sad day because he went to golf.
Yeah.
He said he had a bit of blood in his urine. He went to golf, and so next day we went to the beach, and our doctor was away. The Carden was away, and so we went to the doctor out there, and he said, I'll wait till your doctor comes home, which was a week. And then when he went to Dr. Carden, he put him in to go to Dr. Brand. That was another week.
Yeah.
So it was February when he went in for operation, and that was the worst day in his life. The worst day in mine, I suppose. But it healed up so good and everything, I didn't take any notice about that. And you came home.
Yeah.
And you remember Bonnie making you go to the doctor or not? You remember that?
Yes, I do.
And then, so he didn't tell you anything, didn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Then I thought he was getting better, and then one day, Leonard came or something, he started crying or something. Well, she rang up, that's right, and then I rang the doctor, he said, what do you want to do or something, and he said, he'd come over, so he came over and he got into bed, and he didn't get out again. The doctor used to come and visit him, he said he'd come any time.
Yeah.
Night or day. And then,
so it was in his kidney, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was his kidney, I think.
So you were, I think you said before that it was, he maybe damaged himself when he fell off the horse, or was that
Well, it was,
at the same...
Well, Dr. Carden said it was an old football injury.
Oh, okay.
Because he used to have a bad back when he'd get out of bed, and that's what the doctor said it was
okay.
when he got kicked, and there he told the doctor that, and that's what caused it.
So he'd had
probably bruised and septic probably, and then just
Yeah, okay.
didn't get better, I'd imagine that.
Yeah.
But then he was in there for a while in bed, and Georgie Savage used to come up and visit him and do something, and he used to come and visit him, and then he wouldn't eat, and so I was out at the garage and I said to the doctor he wouldn't eat anything today. He said, oh, you want me to come over? So he came over, and then that night the ambulance came, and John Arthur and the ambulance man took him to hospital
Yeah.
7 o'clock, and you come the next day in the aeroplane to Lismore. Didn't you? You came, yeah, we went shopping and we went to the hospital.
Yep.
And he looked pretty good, and we come home and I said, oh, we forgot to take his pyjamas back, which we bought. But then he died that night. You remember that, I suppose, in ringing up.
Mm.
But all before that was worse still, I suppose. Grandma was sick, so, well, she wasn't sick, but when Martin was sick, Dr. Card and Auntie Doris had a big carbuncle thing on the top of her neck, and Dr. Card was treating her. So she'd have to put Grandma in hospital. She didn't have anywhere, so they put her in there.
Yeah.
And then Dad was also sick. Well, he died on 24th of April, and then Grandma just sat up in bed and sang a hymn and died. On the 24th of May, and then Mum died on the 10th of June. And Dad died on the 10th of July.
Who was it in April that died? That was your father died. Yes.
Dad died in April.
Yeah.
And he'd been in St Vincent's and Lismore, I think he had.
Yeah.
Harden of the Arches, I think, yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty...
So that was all pretty awful. He wouldn't have survived, only was taking Libriums or something the doctor gave me. But he also said over to, well, Jill Brown, the chemist, told me, she said to send over to England to get some tablets for Martin.
Yeah.
His special tablets. And
Yeah.
then, as soon as he knew he was in the hospital, that was it, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Well, I suppose it was... He was... in pretty poor condition, and there was nothing they could really do about it.
Oh, well,
it was that,
he knew.
yeah.
Well, he didn't, well, they got those tablets, he didn't ever say he was in pain or anything.
No.
But all when Doris was there, they used to do the milking and all that.
Yeah.
But I remember he went, after he came home from hospital, we went back and we bought a bike for Johnny's birthday. I can remember that was the last time we went to Lismore and bought a bike.
Yeah.
I remember that bit.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah.
And then in, as I said, I didn't remember Johnny being at the funeral, but the idea of him coming home, he had a suit on, and then he got out of that, and they played cricket. And they were all there playing cricket.
Yeah.
We had a cup of tea there.
On the farm.
Yeah.
I remember going to the funeral in the cemetery, but I don't remember
You
part
took
of it.
all the photos.
Yeah, that's right, but I don't...
You took all the photos, so you got to remember.
Yeah, but I don't remember it coming home. That's the funny thing. Maybe I didn't after that.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have went back to Sydney or anything, I don't know. You might have went straight back.
Don't know.
Yeah, well, there's no photos at home, so maybe you did. Probably had to go back to work. Yeah, well, maybe you did. I don't remember that bit. Ask Johnny, he might have to remember. I don't know. And then after that, in that year, I think, after we went, Johnny and I went on a cruise on the Shot of Rusted Valley, went in, I think we had Christmas dinner in Sydney.
Yeah.
Went on the boat, and I remember I brought on the Christmas dinner up after a couple of days. That was pretty good. We had a really good holiday.
Yeah.
And
You didn't take your seasick pills.
well, I wouldn't know about them in those days, but if I had, I certainly wouldn't take. But I never got sick again. That was one thing. I just got sick, and then Johnny didn't. Well, because Lenore Beck went with Lenore and Keith and Mandy, and Craig went. Craig and Johnny slept in my room all the time, which was really good, and we never saw them. They ran all over the place. But Johnny did get sick on the last day or something. He might have eaten something with all that Russian food we had. And so that was pretty good. I don't know what's happened after that. Forgotten about every other thing that happened. I don't remember much about what Johnny did then. And he's still going to school, of course, with Noel Watts was the school teacher. at Corrigai, then the headmaster at Corrigai. Then he went to high school. And, oh well. And then we went, Bob and Doris must have been still there at the farm because I went to work in Lismore and went up to Bonnie's and I went to work at St Anne's, the old people's home, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And what did Johnny do then? He would have been going to, he probably would have stayed down there with him, I don't remember that. Went to work there. I suppose that was then. And then Orb and Doris went and, well, that's right, we went away, and then Orb died after that, not too long either after that. I think we went away somewhere and I'd come back and he was sitting on the steps and said he got a pain in the chest, and Doris said it's only indigestion. She was giving him all this white medicine, and I took him to the doctor because she couldn't drive. I took him to the doctor. Well, I don't know how soon after that was, I can't remember that bit, and he was only in there in a week and he died then. So then only Doris bought the house at Lennox Head. So it was only Johnny and I there then, and I suppose I gradually got out of milk, and after that, once they went, there was no one there to do any milking.